Station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Straight ahead here on DC News Now at 6, police are providing an update on the scammer wanted for impersonating DC fire officials, what we now know about that suspect. Plus, the latest on a death investigation involving 3 people in Fairfax County, what we've learned about the victims. And former VP Mike Pence is discussing issues he would like to see addressed as the campaign trail heats up for 2024, what he had to say in a visit to Utah. Good evening. Thank you for joining us for DC News Now at 6. I'm Annalisa Gale. We're seeing a risk for extreme weather in parts of the DMV for Sunday. Let's get over to meteorologist Scott Sumner.
That's right, Annalisa. Right now we're quiet. It's kind of a little lull before the actual storms move in. Right now I want to show you the big board here. There's even a tornado watch in effect for portions of central Florida. This is the storm system. All this moisture that's down in Florida right now that I'm watching, as that is going to be moving up in our direction. You see it here with a look ahead. There is a storm now in Mississippi, and that's going to be moving right into our backyard, bringing once again some moderate to heavy rain widespread. That's after several inches of rain yesterday, and now we'll add to that. And in addition to that, we're also watching out for marginal severe weather risk. Now, it's not going to be in D.C. Looks like it's just going to be south of you guys. However, portions of southern Maryland are under the gun for not only some gusty, damaging winds potentially, but maybe the possibility of a spin-up tornado. I'll have more details about that and a timeline for you coming up in a little bit.
All right, thanks, Scott. And right now, D.C. police need your help with finding the man who stole nearly $1,000 last weekend from a Northwest bagel shop. Police tell us that Michael Carrion is currently wanted on an arrest warrant out of New Jersey, but offered no other information. The 56-year-old is said to be the person featured in security footage with a ball cap at Pearl's Bagels last Saturday. The man claimed to be there to inspect fire safety equipment in the kitchen. He gave the manager on duty phony billing statements and was paid nearly $1,000 in cash before he left. DC police believe he may still be in the district. They're offering $1,000 for information leading to an arrest in this case. He's also wanted for a similar crime in Pittsburgh. And police have now identified the 3 people found dead in a home in Springfield, Virginia. According to police, they were all shot to death. Our Leonard and Fleming has the very latest.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's a sad situation here. County detectives say a husband shot his wife and her brother before taking his own life. And the baby and the nanny were upstairs in this home. Police are actually wrapping up their situation here as we speak right now. And this has really hit this close-knit neighborhood very, very hard.
Very friendly, very kind, very maternal and loving when seeing her interacting with her boys. And
Heidi Barrio and her husband Carlos finally remember Mescarim Solomon, whom police say was shot by her husband in a double murder-suicide. The nanny and baby spent time at their home yesterday in the wake of the shooting.
I haven't really met her daughter much, just seen her a little bit here and there, but from what I saw of her, she was a lovely, very loving woman.
Police say the call to the home in the 8500 block of Wild Spruce Drive came around 3:47 p.m. The housekeeper found the wife, her brother Emmanuel Solomon, and her husband Tiku Gabriasis with gunshot wounds. The family nanny and child were inside the home, but uninjured, police say.
We had the nanny over here with us trying to help care for the baby while the police were doing their investigation. And I actually, at first, because I was so involved in it, I didn't realize that was the baby. Their baby.
Now a police cruiser and yellow tape guard the Solomon home that sits eerily still with a Range Rover and other vehicles in the driveway.
Everybody's devastated.
Our children really were also involved with that family.
The medical examiner will be doing autopsies to determine the manner and cause of death. Meanwhile, police are still working to try to figure out motives and how this could have happened. Reporting from Springfield, Leonard and Fleming, DC News Now, back to you.
And developing now, a Howard County man is in custody for possession and distribution of child pornography. Maryland State Police say 41-year-old William Gomez is facing over a dozen charges. He's also accused of creating his own image of a child being assaulted. The MSP Computer Crimes Unit has been tracking Gomez's activity since February. On Thursday, officials completed a search of his home and arrested him. Well, the U.S. economy is slowing down according to new data from the last quarter, and all of it is happening at a time when Congress is in the middle of a fight over spending. And all of this concern is over a possible recession now. That continues. National correspondent Hannah Brandt looks at what may be ahead.
A new Commerce Department report shows the U.S. economy grew at a rate of just 1.1% in the first quarter of this year. That's slower than expected, but not everyone sees it as bad news.
Our view is that the economy is in a very strong position right now.
New economic numbers for the first quarter show weaker than anticipated growth, but the White House insists overall things are good. They point to figures that show consumer spending grew more than 3% in that same time period.
If folks are getting out there feeling comfortable that they can spend on what they need and what they want, that usually means the economy is in pretty healthy shape.
The slowing economy shows the impact of the Federal Reserve's recent interest rate hikes. Inflation is coming down, but economist Ethan Harris predicts the Fed isn't finished.
To get inflation all the way back to their target, the Fed needs to see more weakness in the economy.
The challenge for the Fed is to avoid triggering a recession by slowing the economy too much. And a political showdown over lifting the debt ceiling makes reaching that goal even more complicated.
We may have a very ugly debt ceiling fight, and that could undercut confidence and accelerate the weakening of the economy.
Democrats blame Republicans for increasing the risk of financial trouble.
What we should be doing is responsibly getting to work on behalf of everyday Americans, not engaging in a reckless, dangerous default showdown.
But Republicans say they'll raise the debt ceiling if Congress passes spending cuts, which they insist are crucial for the long-term health of the economy.
We're on a tipping point, and this president wants to even spend more money.
The Federal Reserve has a meeting next week, which is when they could announce another interest rate hike. In Washington, I'm Hannah Brandt.
I'm officially announcing my candidacy for the United States Senate.
Well, it's shaping up to be the biggest U.S. Senate race in the nation, and it's underway in West Virginia. West Virginia Governor Jim Justice is planning to run for Senate, and he is hoping to take Senator Joe Manchin's seat. Manchin has not announced if he is going to run for a re-election. He also has not ruled out a run for the White House. Justice says he will continue to rally for his state if elected into the Senate.
What I want D.C. to do, if I end up in D.C., I'll promise you that you will never see a bigger cheerleader for the state of West Virginia than I've already been all my life, because I believe it. I believe it with all in me.
Manchin talked about what his main goals are right now. He said in part, quote, "I am laser focused on doing the job West Virginians elected me to do, but make no mistake, I will win any race I enter." On the streets of downtown Charleston Friday, we spoke with dozens of people who remain undecided, but some are already leaning into certain sides.
I don't think he's good for West Virginia.
You don't like Jim Justice?
No, at all.
What about Joe Manchin?
He's more of a Republican than he is a Democrat.
I hope Manchin runs because I don't like Justice or Mooney.
Why?
Because of their policies.
People, I think they're tired of politics. I think they're worn out. I think they're just done with it for a time being.
Now, the West Virginia race is important considering it may tell us which party will control the U.S. Senate. Well, speaking of the upcoming election, you can get a much more in-depth look at the state of the race during this week's Capitol Review. We also break down how a proposal could be introduced for a code of conduct on the Supreme Court, plus why military veterans say more work needs to be done to protect them. Here's a look at that conversation with our Tasmin Mahfouz.
Do you think it is important for the court, the highest court, to have some sort of a code of conduct in place moving forward?
Well, you know, it's interesting because, you know, like I mentioned, Democrats and judicial watchdog groups say it is past time for the court to adopt a binding code of ethics. They argue that the Supreme Court is at least the least accountable part of the federal government right now. You know, and the Republican Senator Lisa Murkowski has joined the calls with fellow Democrats. But a lot of the Republicans in the Republican Party are portraying this as a push you know, to smear the court's conservative majority. Senator Mitch McConnell on the Senate floor this week said that the statement by all 9 justices kind of explained their joint approach to maintaining their high ethical standards. And he said that unlike activists and elected Democrats trying to tear them down, the justices have proven their sobriety and their judicial temperament over their long and distinguished careers. So there is this debate and this war waging between the Democrats and judicial groups and the Republicans on whether the Supreme Court should enact a code of ethics or not.
Right now, to talk about these issues, what other problems are veterans facing and could also face long term?
Obviously, mental health is a huge issue. Wait times that we talked about for burn pits, cancer, other issues, that's obviously critical. But when somebody's struggling with mental health and they can't quickly see a physician either at the VA or in their local office, we think it's a big contributor to the suicide problems we have with veterans, veteran homelessness. So if someone hasn't retired in the system and they don't have health care insurance they get from being a retiree, a lot of our combat veterans are coming home. They haven't served long enough to retire. They're having mental health issues and they can't see a doctor quickly or get mental health services quickly. And so it's one of the number one things when we go to town halls across the country and talk to elected officials or bring veterans in, I think we get that question more than any other. How do I get my mental health services for my friend, my family, myself quicker than what we're currently getting them?
All right, you can watch Capitol Review at 11 a.m. Sunday on DCW 50 with our Mark Hall. Turning back outside now with Scott, looking ahead to tomorrow.
Yeah, we have labeled it a DMV weather alert day for Sunday, not tonight. We're in between systems. Yesterday's rain and heavy rain has continued to pull up in towards New England, and now we're getting a little bit of a lull. Some showers will build in overnight tonight, especially after midnight, but that's not what I'm concerned about. What I am looking at is the showers that are just down to the south here in southern Georgia, southern Mississippi, and also Alabama as well. This storm system is going to make a beeline for the Carolinas, the Carolina coast, and then move up in our direction. Now, what does it mean for you and I? It means another round of heavy rain. This is on top of rainfall the last 2 days, anywhere from it looks like about 1 inch all the way up to 2 and a little over 2 inches across the region here. Pockets of areas and areas in portions of Virginia as well as Maryland seeing a good soaking. And yes, we need it, no doubt. But now we're getting another rain widespread, potentially on top of what you see on your screen. And it could be another 1 to 2 inches on top of it. So we could have some possible low-lying flooding in places, especially at times of high tide in and around the Potomac Basin, etc. But we'll also include into that some winds and the potential of some damaging winds as this frontal boundary and storm system moves in our direction. And behind it, it'll be continuing to be breezy across the entire region. So with that being said, we'll also look at some severe weather. We'll get into that in a moment. Temperatures tonight will be into the 60s from 7 to 11. As far as tomorrow is concerned, we're looking at, or later tonight, here's just a different view of it, cloudy conditions. And as far as tomorrow is concerned with the headlines here, rain and storms for Sunday. We'll break it down for you in just a few minutes. Very cool and showery early week and a slow warming and a drying later in the week. And again, I'll take a look at that 7-day and show it to you coming up in just a bit.